This is Algebra 1, Lesson 6D, Definition of Subtraction. In the previous video, we handled a problem like this. And what we did was we said 7, put it in parentheses, and we'll treat this as a negative 4 in parentheses, and we'll rewrite it positive 7 plus negative 4. The signs are different, so we'll subtract their absolute values and get 3. 7's absolute value is larger than negative 4's absolute value, so the answer is positive. Okay? And it ends up looking like this. You could rewrite it like this. Okay? So positive 7 plus a negative 4 equals 3. Notice how we didn't even discuss really subtraction. We rewrote it as a negative. Well, there's another way to think about this. Many textbooks call it the definition of subtraction. That's how I've taught it before. And it says if A and B, and those are just letters that are representing values, numbers, any number that's real, any real number, and that's all that you've dealt with so far are real numbers. If A and B are any real numbers, then A minus B is equal to A plus the opposite of B. Now we're going to start using this symbol as in another use, as the opposite of B, where some people would say minus B or a negative B. We're going to say opposite of B. So here's what's new. We know we've used this as a minus, or sometimes we'll say subtract. And we know that we can use it as a negative. If it's in front of a variable like this, we usually say opposite. So that's something you're learning here, and we will develop that more later. Okay, but they all mean essentially and are used the same way. So what does this look like? Well, if you use this method, this definition to do it, 7 minus 4, you would say, okay, here's our different ways of thinking about it. And we've already learned method 1, where we had 7 minus 4, and you would just think, well, that's positive 7 combined with a negative 4, and you would write that as positive 7 plus negative 4, and you would say those signs are different, so you'd subtract them and get 3, keep the sign of the one with the largest absolute value, and there we go. But the new method is thinking of subtraction as the same as adding the opposite of 4. So I'm going to write it out and talk through it here. It's the same as saying 7 subtract 4. And subtraction is the same as adding, but it's not the same as adding, is it? We know subtraction is not the same as adding, because 7 minus 4 is not the same as 7 plus 4. But subtraction is the same as adding the opposite of 4. And then you end up getting the same thing we did in the other method. Okay? This is the method I was taught. It may be the method that your parents or your teacher was taught. Subtraction is the same as adding the opposite. And then when you get it in this form, you do the same thing. Their signs are different. You have a positive and a negative being combined. So you subtract them and get 3. And you keep the sign of the one with the largest absolute value. Okay? So this method is not inserting all of the parentheses. It's merely changing all subtraction symbols to adding whatever the opposite is of the second number. And we will have to use that in some situations. If you are very comfortable with this method, then it might be good to come along and try to move to see if you can get comfortable with this method. If you're still not quite comfortable with this method, you can keep practicing with that. But you get the same result either way.